So if you've ever noticed that some people have more fulfilling and rewarding social lives than others, you're right. And if you've ever wanted your social life to be in a place like that, you've come to the right place, because today I'm going to sketch out the different levels of social life. The promise that I'm going to make you in this video is that you're going to better understand the different places that people are in socially and how they get there and the kind of person that you need to become so that you can be there too. And I'm not a doctor. I'm just a guy who spent way too long studying and practicing social skills to an embarrassing degree. My name is Luke Grenoble, and we are a gang of young men no longer settling for having a shit social life and the monotony and depression that comes with that. And our mission is to motivate 5,000 young men by the end of 2024 to create the social lives that are rewarding and fulfilling that they genuinely need. And I'm going to preface this before getting into it and say, one, that each of these levels aren't like set in stone levels, right? It's more of a sliding scale. But from working with coaching clients and from experience in my own life, I've set out these different levels that people generally fall into, right? There's noticeable differences between them. And second, don't watch this video if you don't want to change. If you genuinely believe that you can't change, that social skills are set in stone, or that you're not ready to level up your social life, you can go watch a video of a cat riding on the back of a monkey, bro. All right, now that it's just me and the boys, let's get into it. So first level, right here. We're going to zoom in, make this easier for me to draw. This is you. Level 1, alone. And I genuinely hope that you are not here. Not a lot of people, honestly, are. Most people are a little bit higher up here, but if you are genuinely alone, I hope that you are, one, either working your way out of it very fast, because it can be very taxing on your mental health, or two, you're getting help right now. One of the two. Next, a lot more people are living in this level, right? This is level 2. Boom, boom, boom. Level 2 is struggling. I'll just write strug. You get it. So level 2 is struggling, where you are still here, right? But you have some connections with some other people. They're not necessarily close connections. These aren't like best friends in the world, right? But these are people that you see on a daily basis. You're acquainted with, you know them, you have conversation. So you're not completely alone. At this next level, you can tell a difference already in just the way that you are, right? Right here, your thoughts are all kinds of scrambled. They're everywhere. Here, you've started to become a bit more open, right? You've let some of the thoughts out. You've figured yourself out a little bit more. And the hugest difference between this and this is you started to become more authentic, right? You started to let your thoughts out, to let them flow. And you started to meet some other people who are doing the same thing too, right? And whenever you start doing this, right, you're going to meet other people who are on this same path too. Because when you start improving your mental health, it's going to be easier for you to connect with people doing the same thing. It's going to be easier to start connecting with people who are also open and more authentic and make slightly deeper connections, right? This is where most people are at, where they have some friends, some acquaintances. And honestly, a lot of people are happy here. This is average. You know, they have their mom that they're kind of close to. They have a couple friends from high school, maybe some from college, some coworkers. They have some connections. They still feel lonely a lot of the time, but they're not like, they can deal with it, but they're just content here, right? Then there's other people, right? Look at that. There's a huge difference there, right? You don't have these thoughts bouncing around in your head anymore. You are open. You are honest. You figured out yourself to a degree where you can say, this is what I'm like. You figured yourself out enough that you can be authentic with people again. And when you do this, bro, boom, 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 boom. You start making more connections. But not just more connections. You start making a few strong connections, right? You start building deeper connections with people because you're able to open up and be vulnerable and go through these layers of disclosure that I've talked about before, right? When you're able to do this and open up with people and tell people some of the darker parts about yourself, right? Because you've understood them. You accept them. You realize, of course, I'm a human being. I'm going to have these sides to myself. You start connecting with people more honestly and a lot easier because people are like, this guy is straight up. I may not be 100% like this guy, but I really like this guy because I always know what he's thinking. I don't have to second guess. I don't have to think, does he have an ulterior motive? He says what he means. He says what he thinks. He's open. He's unapologetic in the things that he loves and his hobbies. And that's a really cool thing to see. So you're naturally going to start connecting with people, and you're going to make some really sick connections too. Like, these guys are going to be your best friends right here that you hang out with day to day. And this is level 4, bro. Here, you are social. People look at you and they're like, this guy goes out of his way to talk to people. This guy makes conversation in the coffee shop with strangers. He's having a good time. And I think I kind of want to be around him. Because when you are authentic, when you start getting to here, bro, to being open like this, figuring yourself out, it's so naturally attractive to other people that other people are just going to start to come into your life. They're going to start forming these connections, right? Without even really trying that hard. Next level, up here. You're still open as fuck. But now, boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. Now, you start making way more connections. And on top of that, people that you don't even know start to know you, start to hear about you. Just through the grapevine, because you're a sick guy, right? You helped your buddy Henry out the other day when his car broke down at work. You went and picked him up. And Henry ended up telling one of his buddies, oh yeah, my friend Luke picked me up. He's a sick guy. He did this and this and this. And they're going to say, did you go over to Luke's the last time that he hosted something? And they'd be like, no, I wasn't there. Who's Luke? People are going to start to hear about you, bro. Because at this point, you are open and you're also the initiator, right? You're also the guy who reaches out to people and says, let's go do this thing at this time. Let's all come to my place and do this thing. You host people, right? You're kind. This gets you to level 5. Where you are a social celebrity, where you just have this aura around you, where people want to be around you. People just love hanging out with you and talking to you. And you have a great reputation because you're a great guy. People want to continue hanging out with you. People want to continue being at your place because you're a great host. But you start forming this tight group of friends, right? You now have more close social connections. You hang out with these guys all the time. You really know these homies. You now have this tight-knit social group, right? A bunch of guys that you hang out with and go do fun shit with all the time. So one of the huge differences about being a social celebrity is tight-knit friend group. That's huge. So not only are you just hanging out one-on-one with a couple people, but you're close. You have a bunch of boys around you, right? Another great thing about this place is communism. Just kidding. It's community, right? You start forming what feels like community around you. It's not just you living in a place. You've gone to enough coffee shops. You've gone to open mic night enough times. You've gone to enough places that are happening in your neighborhood that you feel like you're part of a larger community. You are connected. And you start getting back to the community too, right? Because that's what makes social relationships and life incredibly fulfilling, is not only are you doing shit for yourself, but you're giving back. You're seeing change in other people's life because of the thing that you do. That makes you feel, one, helpful, two, like you have power because you're changing things around you. Next, you become a lift. What that means is you can tell that there aren't nearly as many people who are closed off, who are struggling with mental health and being themselves and being authentic. There's these guys out here, but they don't really know you that well. But most people are open. They can be themselves. They're fulfilled. And that's because you were leading by example, bro. You start here. Connections like this. But because you were this guy and you were open like this, you end up turning people into this. You literally make the people around you better because you are being such a great influence, right? People look at you and just being around you makes them feel like they can be themselves, like they can be open because you are the one who did it first. And that can be scary for a lot of people, right? It might be scary for you right now. But one of the keys, if you can notice, from getting down here to getting to up here is you. That's one of the main differences from starting here, going to here, and lastly up to here. So this one, I'm going to call closed. Right here, you're closed off. You're not seeking social connections. Even though you want to, even though you want them, you crave them, right? But you're not seeking them. And usually it's for two reasons. One, either because of limiting beliefs or because of bad mental health. So once you start figuring yourself out and realizing, why do I have these beliefs that are shutting me off from people? How can I work with myself to start improving my mental health? What can I do to start getting better and better and better? What can I start to do to make it easier and easier for me to start to reach out, for me to start to be more open and show more of myself around people, even though I think it's kind of scary right now? What can I do to get to the point to be the guy who is so socially attractive because he is open with his personality? When you start focusing on these things, you go from here to this stage, which I will call healing, right? You still have these thoughts in your head to a degree, but you're starting to form your sense of self. You're starting to say, I'm working with myself to become a better person, to become more open. And then eventually you get to this stage where you are open. You are the guy who is naturally authentic and naturally attractive because of that. And once you're here, bro, this is an incredible place to be, because once you are at this place, even if you move somewhere new, bro, you don't start down here. You don't start alone. You start up here, because naturally you're going to be talking to the people around you. You're going to be making connections with the waitress, with the person in the lobby of your apartment, with the people at the events that you go to. You're naturally going to be talking to them, getting to know them, getting their contacts, starting to hang out, forming these friend groups around you. And eventually, you're going to get to here. And the only difference between being here and here is two things. One is assertiveness. I'm just going to write ass because I think it's funny. So one is assertiveness, right? Putting yourself out there, consistently being authentic around people and going and doing events outside of your house, right? That are fun, that you genuinely like to do, where you connect with people. And two, is time. Those are the only two things that you need to go from being social to a social celebrity. Because when you are in a place for long enough, you naturally get to know the people, especially if you're being assertive. You naturally get to know the community around you and you become part of it. And not only part of it, but a tight-knit part of it, right? Because you're giving back to it. You are hosting. You're being assertive. You're putting your will out there. You're letting people know what you want and what you need. Of course, we are going to get you to the place where you have the social life that you want, where you have the friends that you want, where you have the romantic life that you want. But it's bigger than just you and me. Another part of this is opening up the rest of the world, because we are the loneliest generation right now, bro, which is fucking crazy because we're the first generation ever to be lonelier than the elderly. And we can start to change that by opening up, working on ourselves to be these authentic people and bringing up the others around us to do the same. We're going to live in a more connected world because we are leading by example. And that's our ultimate goal, to live in the kind of world where you can go outside and the neighbors around you are incredibly friendly. They're asking how your day was. We want to live in the kind of world where it's easy for us to look at others and say, hey neighbor, what's up? How are things going? To be assertive with yourself, to feel connected and happy and in a community. This is the kind of place that we want to be at, and it's by getting to the social celebrity status that we get there, that we start to change the world that we live in. And you're going to get here, bro. That's the thing. Because you were watching a video like this, because you were interested in this kind of thing, you're going to get to this point. But if you want to get there faster, bro, and with my personal help, I have a social celebrity coaching package where I'm not just going to hop on a call with you and hop off, bro. We're going to work together for months at a time, and we're really going to get to know each other. You're going to get access to exclusive personal materials. On top of that, you're going to hear me talk about stuff that I can't necessarily talk about on YouTube, right? And we're going to work together to make this a fucking reality for you a lot sooner. If that's something you're interested in, you can click the first link in the description to learn more about it, or hop on a call with me where I can sell you on it. But what I want you to do is focus on getting from closed to open. I'll put up a video here for you to go check out to help you on that path. I was going to say, bro, that you can go watch like some charisma on command videos to help you out with that too. But honestly, there's not a lot of people on YouTube who are talking about the inner side of this, right? With a lot of these other social skills type videos to look like a high value man, quote unquote, right? In my videos, what I'm working on is the inner side. I'm giving you the mental skills and the mindsets to make this natural for you so that you're naturally here rather than here. So go ahead and watch this video that's going to help you get there, bro. And just know that I'm so excited to see not only where you are going to be, but where the rest of the world is going to be because of this gang. And I'm proud that you're a part of it. Act now, brother. Become unstoppable.